Hey, folks, there seems to be a lot of misunderstandings about warrants and when police can use them. This is one of those areas of the Fourth Amendment that is decaying before our eyes and has been for some time. So everybody thinks, well, the police have to have a warrant when they come by. Well, not always. The original concept of the warrant goes back many, many centuries and has had a position in this country into our Constitution as a basic tenet because the British monarch and other monarchs of the world would simply knock on the door, demand you open it in the name of the king, and if you didn't open it, you were in big trouble, and you might be in big trouble if you did open it. The idea of having a warrant for somebody's arrest would also come, but the warrant would be again on whatever the king wanted, the king's official warrant or the local constabulary. Um, in fact, the warrant seems to have developed into this idea that you had to have a warrant for a good reason. So we called it now probable cause or cognizable suspicion, a good reason for beating on someone's door. Well, that eventually has gotten eroded. Little by little, the Supreme Court has weakened it. Now we have it where, well, if they have the warrant in the police station, that's good enough. And if they bring it to you at some point later, in my case in 2018, they showed the warrant at the end of the police interrogation. And when my fingers touched it, he pulled it back and said, oh, there's something I need to fix on it. And I never saw the warrant again until the case was over and I had it in hand with all the other court papers after the fact. We also have no-knock warrants, which the police have allowed. The concept that, if something is super urgent, we can knock and burst open the door, or we can simply not knock if it's that urgent and burst open the door. And I'll explain the first one in a minute. But you'll remember Breonna Taylor in Kentucky, the young woman who worked as a correction officer. The door burst open and armed men came in looking for something. The boyfriend who woke up and grabbed his pistol and raced down the stairs, confronted the intruders, and they began shooting. Breonna Taylor came to the top of the stairs and began coming down, and she was shot by the police officer, one of them coming into the home. The problem is the police officers were supposed to be in the home next door, if I got the story right. And so they killed her. So some states have banned no-knock warrants, okay? Others have the idea of the knock first warrant. We knock on the door, and if you don't answer because you're not immediately there, we kick in the door and give you the warrant. That's what they've done to me. See, they claim, well, we did knock, and that might be true, but you would have to be standing at the door to be able to take action to even see who was there. Most people across the house in the backyard or whatever, and that too doesn't matter to the court. Then we have other exigencies, like the idea you're chasing somebody who had just stolen a purse, I don't know, dives into a building. You can burst through the door, barricades the door, burst through to get him, even in a private home. Now, I'm not an expert on these warrants, but one thing I am certainly knowing for sure is that warrants have been reduced a long time ago since the Fourth Amendment was developed, saying you had to have probable cause or cognizable suspicion. So a lot of people are out there, well, they need a warrant. Well, they're supposed to, like for wiretapping and other things, but that has been totally ignored by the courts, completely ignored in all but the most dire of circumstances, I guess would be a good word for the most unusual circumstances. Certainly, when you read the wiretapping statutes, they say any electronic communication must be done in the states, often by the Attorney General authorization, and then only done by the local state police of whatever state you're in, not the local cop on the beat. That's not supposed to be allowed, and yet that's what's happening. So a lot to say about warrants. I don't pretend to be an expert, but unfortunately, the Supreme Court has continued to weaken that provision. I would refer anybody who wanted to learn more about it to Policing Without Permission, a book that I've recommended very often by Professor Barry Friedman. I think it's 2017. And he does an excellent job going through all of these Fourth Amendment protections that are being reduced and to the point of almost being a shadow of their former selves. And I recommend that you get that and read up on it.